the first 15 years of my journey, I didn't want to be the personal brand. I was the guy who was in the background. I had been in the industry for like 15 years at that point, and I felt maybe it's now time where I do start to talk more, do more training, pass on the experience. So it wasn't always a conscious decision. It's probably only been in the last 8 years. You have to stand out. There's 100 podcasts out there, or 1,000 or 1,000,000. Why is anyone going to watch this one? Why is anyone going to watch you? Why the hell does anyone care what the hell you say? And that is where you have to use your personality at the same time, as well as your knowledge and experience. The biggest piece of advice I can give to people is, when you're creating a personal brand, you need to build a social media following, you need to build YouTube subscribers, you need to build an emailing list, and all of that stuff, because that is what turns to money. Now, the only way you're going to build that stuff is by offering value up front.
Hello everyone, this is Maitri Dave, a professional MC and sales and consulting head at Labs Media, and welcome you back on our podcast, on our channel, SEO Circus, where I'm your host and you will see me getting into candid, interesting and insightful conversations with industry leaders. And even today's guest is a very special guest to me. Let me tell you a bit about him. Our today's guest is a powerhouse in SEO world, someone who has spent nearly 23 years mastering SEO and digital marketing. He's an entrepreneur and speaker who has built his reputation as one of the go-to people in the SEO industry for the advice, right? He's not just an SEO strategist, but a consultant and a trainer. He's also a content creator and a podcaster. And by the way, he has got around 1.19 million of subscribers on his YouTube channel, which is like a lot. his YouTube channel is like a gold mine for all the people to go for SEO insights, and where he gives like real, legitimate, no nonsense advice that actually work. Let me welcome the founder of the Link Building Agency, Link for You, none other than Craig Campbell. Hello.
Thank you for the introduction. That made me laugh. It made me laugh.
Yeah, thank you so much, Craig, for being on a podcast. I'm really excited for today. You know, Craig, your name itself, Craig Campbell SEO itself is a brand. You have made a recognizable place in the industry, right? And you know that SEO is such a crowded space, right? But you have managed to stand out in the world, right? So I would like to start from there. As you know, that SEO is such a crowded space, and you have managed to stand out in it, right? So I'd like to know, that has personal branding always been a conscious decision, or has it evolved with the time, or how it happened to you?
No, no, the first 15 years of my journey, I didn't want to be the personal brand. I was the guy who was in the background of the agency um, that I had. And at the time, I felt that that was the right way to do things. And then something changed. I don't know what or why, but I decided to go down the personal branding route, and try and make people understand who I am, what I do, and things like that. And I tried it out because like social media was becoming more popular, YouTube was becoming popular, speaking at events was becoming popular, and I thought, you know, just at the time, it just felt like the right thing to do. And I had been in the industry for like 15 years at that point, and I felt maybe it's now time where I do start to talk more, do more training, pass on the experience. So it wasn't always a conscious decision. It's probably only been in the last 8 years that I decided to go down that route, believe it or not. and it's working out okay. So I can't complain too much.
Well, you just, I feel like you adapted change and the current trends, and that just worked out really well for you. Is that it?
Yeah, when I first started in the SEO space in the early 2000s, social media, Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff wasn't a thing. It just
Mm,
wasn't there. And, a lot of the education and the learning you got was on forums and things like that. And it just wasn't popular. And when you start out doing that, you end up sticking to it and you're always going to be the guy that's in the background. But like I say, I think, as technology and social media and everything else evolves, I thought, I feel I could do that. And and I gave it a shot. And, it's a bit like yourself. We met in India and you were telling me, about what you do. And obviously you're a personality, you're a likable person. And I think it would be a shame not to try and exploit those skills
mm,
to promote or whatever, because people buy into people. They don't care about your company or whatever. They'll go, oh, Maitri's a really funny, engaging person. And I think that for me is a great way to market.
mm.
Whether you're doing SaaS marketing, whether you're promoting your services, it doesn't matter. People buy into people. And I think if you're comfortable going on camera or speaking on stage or doing social media, then I think you've got to exploit that, because 99% of the world are scared to go on camera. And
Mm.
like you said, you have to stand out. There's 100 podcasts out there, or 1,000 or 1,000,000. Why is anyone going to watch this one? Why is anyone going to watch you? Why the hell does anyone care what the hell you say? And that is where you have to, use your personality at the same time, as well as your knowledge and experience. And I think that combination is what is a successful mix.
Wow, definitely. That's so true. Yeah, that's so true. Thanks. And I feel like when it comes to personal branding, authenticity is a key of personal branding, right? And I feel like many people don't know how to actually put themselves out there. And when they do, they seem as too polished, right? But when I see you, you are too direct, you're unfiltered, you're just unapologetically yourself, right? So I would like to know how crucial you're just always so authentic, and that's what I even like about you. So I would like to know how crucial the authenticity is in personal branding, and how do you, when you build a personal brand out of yourself, how you focus on that and how do you do that?
Um, it's a difficult one to answer, but being authentic, I think is important. Everyone, no one out there, regardless of what industry they're in, is liked by 100% of the audience. Whether that
Mm,
be a politician, a singer, whatever. Someone will say that singer, is garbage. Even Taylor Swift, people say, oh, Taylor Swift's rubbish. She's this, she's that. Um, and I don't think you can go out your way now in today's world and try and be liked by everyone. I think you're fighting a losing battle. So I think the only alternative to me is to be yourself. And if that puts off 80% of your potential audience, then so be it. They're not the right audience for you.
mm,
And in the past, I did try to censor things a little bit. Um, and for what reason, I don't know. When I look back on it, I feel it was a stupid idea, to try and pretend to be someone I wasn't. And I'm fully aware that the tattoos, the swearing, the crazy stories, the some of the things that I've done. they're not for everyone, and I don't expect them to be for everyone. And you've got
True.
to just think of it like that. And all I can really do is tell the stories and the journey that I've been on. And sure, I've made mistakes. Sure, I've done things that maybe I shouldn't have done. But who cares? I done them anyway, and it was fun, and I learned from it. And I would say to anyone, do the same thing as long as you're not doing anything illegal or
Of
you
course.
know disruptive to someone's business and things like that. I think there's a barrier that I don't like to cross. But I certainly wouldn't try and be censored by anyone. And people in the SEO industry in particular in the past have said, Craig, I don't think you should talk about this tactic or that strategy because people might frown upon it or whatever. And I'm like, and what? If I want to talk about it, and I feel that people who would listen to me need to hear about it, then I'm going to talk about it. And again, why not? It's the world is full of people who are censored or too scared to speak up about certain things and topics and strategies or whatever. And I'm just not that guy. I think being unfiltered is certainly the type of people that I enjoy watching. For many years, one of my favorite all-time idols was a guy called Muhammad Ali, who was a
Uh-huh.
boxer, and he was a showman. He was crazy. If you watch some of the footage, some of the things that he said were crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
But it's all marketing, it's all showmanship, it's all
Mm. Mm.
whatever it is, and that is the type of person that I would gravitate to and enjoy watching as well. And I think trying to realize that's who you are, and if you're crazy or whatever, like Muhammad Ali was, he was great at what he done, but he was absolute batshit crazy at the same time, and I think the world loved him for it, and that's where I would always advise people to just be yourself, and even if people think you are a little bit crazy or whatever, then so be it. That
It's okay.
that's
It's
that's
okay. Not
fine.
everyone, yeah, not everyone would be able to match up your frequency. So that's okay. No worries. Yeah. Great, great.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, when we're talking about personal branding, right? A strong personal brand isn't just about visibility, but also about monetization as well, right? So how did you initially, when you created a personal brand out of yourself, how did you initially get the brands to pay for your videos or for your podcast? How you initially started with that? And also, how has your brand unlocked new revenue systems and streams through it?
So to be honest, when you build a personal brand at the start, it's very hard to monetize because you go through the starting phase where you don't have enough following to warrant someone paying you to promote stuff.
Mm,
So my advice would be at the start, you have to look at this as a long-term strategy because there is hours and hours and hours of videos that you make where you don't get paid anything for it. You've got to do that groundwork. And I feel that a lot of people who build a personal brand are not fully aware of that. And they, after a month or two of not making money, they get fed up and decide to move on. Now, first thing, when you're building a personal brand, I gave away a lot of knowledge for free. Now,
mm,
demonstrating knowledge allowed potential clients to come to me asking me if I could do work for them. So I was able to monetize it in terms of generating leads to do client services. But like I've said, client services wasn't something that I've always enjoyed for one reason or another. Um, so obviously, as time has evolved and as I've made more money, I do get brand deals. People reaching out to me saying, "Craig, you've got a nice social media following or a nice YouTube following? Can we pay you to sponsor your YouTube channel, or can we pay you for a video to promote our products or services? But you have to build up to that. And the biggest piece of advice I can give to people is when you're creating a personal brand, you need to build a social media following, you need to build YouTube subscribers, you need to build an emailing list, and all of that stuff, because that is what turns to money. Now, the only way you're going to build that stuff is by offering value up front. A lot of people are on there from day one selling, talking shit, whatever it may be. You have to offer value up front. No one cares about you or your journey or where you came from or any of that stuff. No one cares about that stuff. They want to know what they can take from you knowledge wise. They don't care that you're a nice person either. They just say, what has Maitri got for me? And if you don't hit them with it straight away, they'll move on to the next person or the next person. So you have to offer a hell of a lot of value up front to build the mailing list, the social following, and obviously the YouTube subscribers. Only then you will be able to command a fee to promote, whether it be SaaS, whether it be hosting, it doesn't matter. Where where there's followers, there's money. That is the one thing. And people say, oh, I've done all these videos. Make sure you're fucking getting these people onto a mailing list as well. Make sure that the funnel, the ecosystem is not just YouTube. Get the whole thing propped up. That is what you have to do. And
Okay.
like I say, for the past 8 years, I've traveled the world speaking at conferences. Why? Because I wanted to build the social media following, I wanted to build the mailing list, I wanted to build the personal brand. And you're traveling the world, you're on 20-hour flights, and that all takes time, effort, and money. And the part that I like to highlight is people go, oh, this guy's fucking always in YouTube talking, talking, talking. Yeah, because I worked and traveled 20-hour flights, traveled all over the world. I worked hard for it. So it's not an quick thing to do, is all I would really advise anyone listening. It takes time, effort, and also a hell of a lot of money to be able to do all of that as well. So you're investing in yourself, and the more you invest in yourself, the more knowledge, the more contacts, the bigger your list, the bigger the social media following, and the more value you become. And I feel that a lot of people don't see that. They just want the quick return of investment. They expect to go to one conference and in comes all this money into their pocket, and it doesn't quite work like that, unfortunately.
I get it. I get it. Be patient. That's what Craig is saying in a way. But yeah, true, true, true. Great. Well, thank you so much for this segment. Definitely it helped me a lot, and it will help I use this a lot when it comes to branding and personal branding. Next, I would move to SEO. Right. Next segment is of course SEO. Right. So as you have been interested since more than 2 decades, right? And you know that SEO today is more competitive, unpredictable, and more AI influenced than ever before, right? So if any client today come to you and will ask it, crap, still shall I be investing in SEO or shall I put my money somewhere else? Or what portion of my marketing budget I should invest in SEO? Then what your advice would be to do that to your client?
Um, I think it's changing. The answer to this is changing significantly. I would never, if you came to me and said, Craig, I have got £1 million a year marketing budget, where should I spend it? It would not be 100% of it on SEO. Absolutely not. I think you've got to split that budget up into whether it be paid ads, whether it
Of course,
be
of course.
working with influencers. And I think all of that stuff is really, really important in this day and age. Um, so I would it would depend on the business. Now, is SEO still super important? Does SEO traffic still convert? very well? Absolutely, of course it does. But it's the longest route to making money because you can switch Facebook ads on tomorrow and you'll instantly start getting a return of investment fairly quickly. Whereas SEO, you know, it's going to take 6 months, 9 months, or whatever. And for me, my advice would be to spread your marketing budget wisely with a focus on SEO for sure. But if you ask me the same question 5 years ago, I would have said, 50% of it should be spent on SEO. I
Okay.
see that has went down significantly in my own opinion,
Hmm.
just because it takes so long. Google is doing more and more updates. And obviously now we've got the introduction of AI and everything else. So I think we need to spend the budgets, the marketing budgets on those areas as well.
For sure, definitely. We should definitely. And the next question, when it comes to SEO, there are so many myths around SEO, right? You've seen SEO myths come and go over the years, be it black hat techniques, like quick hacks, and much more. So, what's the biggest SEO myths that people still believe in, but it's not true? It's wrong. What's that, according to you?
A lot of SEO myths that, I mean, I wouldn't say there's any wrong thing. One thing I do see is a lot of people fully focus on one thing. So they
Mhm.
believe that technical SEO is the be all and end all of SEO. It's absolutely not the case. You've got to have content, you've got to have links, you've got to have brand authority, branded search, social profiles, all of that combined help your overall SEO strategy. And you've got so many people out there who say, no, 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 it's all about technical. Let's do audit after audit after audit after audit. And you're like, guys, like, are you fucking insane? This is crazy. So what I do see is not myths as such. I just see people debate as to how popular the strategy that they are specialists in. And of course, they're going to do that to make more money and promote, selling audits or whatever. But I think, you have to look at things from a more generalist approach. You can't rank well with no content. You can't rank for competitive search terms without building links. You know, you can't grow to being a number one dominant force in the world without a combination of all of that
Hmm.
and also the social aspect of it and everything else that goes into play because I do feel that in this day and age one of the biggest ranking factors or not one of the biggest but an important ranking signal is traffic. you know
Hmm.
People talk about links, people talk about all of this other stuff. What happens when your website gets a whole bunch of traffic? What happens to your rankings when that happens? Of course, you're going to see an uplift in your rankings because Google see that as a positive engagement signal that increases your rankings. So, these are things that people think are black hat or are dodgy. I'm not suggesting that you go out there and get a whole bunch of fake traffic from Indonesia or some random country. Of course, that's not going to help you. But again, going back to using a mailing list, using social media ads, using organic social media, using your YouTube to funnel people into the page is going to give you better rankings as well.
Hmm.
Um, so I, I just think there's a lot of selfishness from other people trying to peddle their own agenda rather than just look at everything with a generic overview. And,
Hmm.
it would be the same as me. I own a link building agency. That's like me saying that links are the only thing that's important from an SEO perspective. Of course it's not. Of course it's not, but if I want to sell, I could potentially argue that point. But there is more to life than just building links as well.
Great. Well, Craig, the next segment is AI and automation, right? And as you know, that automation is everywhere. Every other day, there is a new tool in the market which will say that I will do the SEO for you, right? But let's be real, there is always a catch in it. We, of course, need the human touch, human creativity, right? But still, we need automation as well, just to stay updated with current trends and AI, right? So my question is, according to you, how much an SEO agency's workflow should be automated? Or might how much AI that we should be infused within our system? What's your take on it?
So the way that I would answer this is that one of the biggest things that take time from an SEO perspective is content. Now, for me, that's not something you can fully automate using AI. Um, not at this stage anyway. It may change, but at this stage, you can't do that because obviously AI's got certain patterns and everything else. Now, I am currently testing AI agents
Yeah.
to try and do content. And I do believe that it's going to work eventually. I think
Okay.
AI is evolving at such a fast pace, but within an SEO agency, there are so many other things that you can automate. Whether that be reporting, whether that be even your social media strategy can be semi-automated. Um, Newsletters can be automated. You can even do faceless AI videos, you know.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think um, a lot of the repetitive, monotonous tasks that we do day to day in an SEO agency can now be semi-automated using AI and agents and stuff like that. So I think we but the most important thing is you can't get AI to do everything. You've got to manually check stuff. You've got to have someone overseeing the quality of what is going out as well, because I don't think AI is quite perfect yet, where you could
Of
just
course.
let it do everything for you and you
True.
just go to sleep and you
Of
know
course.
this
Of
this
course.
thing's so I think the human touch is still vital. Um, with AI, but I do believe that using automated workflows, using make.com or NAN, I think it's the way forward. And there's a lot more speed, reliability. You can even have AI forming part of your sales team, onboarding processes, all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's exciting times, and my only advice to anyone would be you have to embrace this, because if you don't, you're going to get left behind so
Of
quickly.
course.
Um, so that would be my advice.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you for that. You know how now ChatGPT and AI tools are making content creation easier than ever, as we discussed. But how can we businesses use AI without getting paralyzed by search engines?
That's where, an AI agent, for example. So what happens is if you put something into ChatGPT, what happens is ChatGPT goes to sources on the internet and pulls the right information.
Correct.
Now,
Like what Maxillary does,
everyone,
right?
yeah. So if everyone's doing that, then you're not doing anything to stand out from the crowd. If everyone else is using ChatGPT, the difference between ChatGPT and building your own agent is the database of information, or a RAG system, is the difference between an AI agent and using AI. So, for example, I've got my own AI agent. Now, it talks like me, it swears like me, but the information that it pulls from is not from Google or Bing. It's pulling from a database that I've built, that I've fed in the right answers to. So, it's not going to give out the wrong information. So the AI model has been trained to speak like me, but the source of the factual information is actually podcasts, blog posts, tweets, LinkedIn posts, presentations that I've done. So the information is pulling factually from me, whereas ChatGPT is pulling stuff from God knows where on the internet. You could put in to ChatGPT, give me the best tip for social media marketing, for example, and it's going to pull that from God knows who or God knows where, and whether that's factually right or wrong, it's just going to spit it out, and that is the big danger. So I think an AI agent is the new way to do this better than just using ChatGPT. But it takes time, effort, and money to train that model to suit. So, that is something that I am currently working on, because I'd like to automate everything. If I can sit there and push a button the first thing in the morning and all of my work is done,
Of
then I'm
course.
living the absolute dream. So
Definitely.
that's the plan.
True, that's the part. Okay, got it. Thanks for that. And glad to know that you are developing such AI agent, right? That can work for you. Amazing. Let me know feedback on that as well, right? When it's done. And second, we talked about AI automation, right? But again, I would like to circle back to SEO. As you know, SEO is evolving, constantly evolving. What's that one outdated strategy that, SEO agencies should drop immediately?
One strategy they should drop immediately. Um, I think a strategy that I see a lot that doesn't offer much value
Hmm.
is people who just write content for the sheer hell of writing content.
Hmm.
I know so many SEO agencies who sell to their clients and they'll say part of your SEO strategy is going to be 10 blog posts per month.
Hmm.
And that's the KPI. The KPI is 10 blog posts per month.
Hmm.
Now, when I go in and look at that content, it doesn't really target a keyword. It's so broad. 1 minute they're writing about, I don't know, a roof repair. The next minute they're writing about a window repair. The next minute they're writing about painting the walls inside the house. They're not focusing on a topical cluster. They're not doing keyword research properly. They're blindly creating content on such a massive scale
Hmm.
that actually serves no purpose to the internet. Now, when I get someone who comes to me for consultancy, one of the first things I say to them is go and remove 80% of the pages that are on your website because they
Yeah,
don't get
yeah,
any impressions, they don't get
yeah,
any traffic, they don't rank for anything. They're actually
true.
weighing your website down. They're garbage.
Yeah,
Um, and agencies are still continuing to fill people's websites full of garbage content. So that's the one thing that I see still happening even in 2025. It's beggars belief.
true, true. I feel like we should first go and do the soft audit of their existing blogs as well. If it's
Yeah,
garbage, just remove it from your website, right? True, great.
yeah.
Yep, yep. Great. I like the way with the face you were saying it. People should do it. Yeah.
But you look at any website, if you put up your own, your SaaS agency's website, 80% of the traffic comes from 20% of the pages on that website. Even you have 80% garbage content on that website that needs to be taken down,
Hmm.
rewritten,
Hmm.
merged together, or
True.
do better. Everyone,
Yep.
including myself, has it. There's absolute garbage out there. Clean it up.
True, true, true. Definitely. Thanks for saying that. That definitely makes sense, and people should do that. Next segment is about SaaS SEO and growth strategies, right? As you know, Labs Media is a SaaS marketing agencies, and we work with a lot of SaaS owners to help them stand out in the market and do, of course, SEO, content, backlinks, and much more stuff for them, right? So I know for a fact that SaaS marketing works differently than the traditional SEO, right? But and I see that SaaS company owners are majorly focused. They doesn't care about the traffic. They are focused upon the customer acquisition, retention, and one word that they love, MRR growth. Right.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that. Like, how do you tie SEO efforts directly to revenue growth and instead of just traffic? How do you do that, Emma?
That is a really hard question
Hmm.
to answer. I'll explain why.
Hmm.
for someone who's got a SaaS tool that is relatively unknown to the industry. So I get these guys all the time. Craig, I've got an amazing SaaS. The world needs to know about it. Do you do people really think that me posting one video about it is going to bring an influx of sales? Maybe, maybe not. Now, statistically, you need between 7 and 11 touch points on a SaaS product, not just from me, but from other people in the industry, because people are not just going to jump on the next latest tool. Everyone's done that for years. Shiny object syndrome. People buy up stuff, it's garbage. It is what it is. But statistically, you need between 7 and 11 touch points before a consumer will take action. So how do you direct, directly attribute where your money's been spent? That is really difficult because sometimes I do stuff for SaaS companies and I'll do a video, and yes, in comes a whole bunch of sales because it depends on the product. If it's something shiny, new, AI, where everyone's like, whoa, I need to try that. Sure, that can work. But not every SaaS is like that. And sometimes people need more touch points, they need more education. And I've worked with SaaS companies and I've done a video 3 years ago, and even to this day, people are still going, oh, I seen that video 3 years ago. It now makes sense. And I heard it from Craig. I was one of the touch points, but then they were reminded about it because the same SaaS company sponsored an SEO conference. The same SaaS company sponsored someone's podcast. So sometimes you need those multiple touch points before someone goes, ah, right, I keep seeing this name. What the fuck is this? I need
Yeah.
to check this out. So that's where it can be very, very difficult for a SaaS owner who doesn't understand the multi-touch thing to build trust. And I had someone the other day who messaged me and they said, Craig, if you do a video, roughly how many sales do you think this product will get? And I'm like, dude, that's impossible for me to answer. And they're like, well, why? What did the last guy get in terms of signups? And I'm like, well, the last guy is a world-renowned brand. So of course, I'm just a final touch point. You, on the other hand, are known to nobody and no one's going to buy in the first instance. So
Understood.
there's so many different things that can result in those signups. But from a SaaS perspective, the monthly recurring revenue is the goal. That is what these guys want. That is what is going to allow them to sell the company on to a bigger company. The monthly recurring revenue is important, not the fucking quick AppSumo deal that you got where it's just a cash grab. That these guys are on lifetime deals. It's the MRR is the main focus of the business, and how do you get that? And how do you get that perfectly? It's a genius question that no one can really answer, other than you've got to do Facebook ads, you've got to sponsor events, you've got to get speakers to talk about you, you've got to get YouTube people talking about you. All of that combined is where you're going to grow the monthly recurring revenue. And unfortunately, when I get asked to promote SaaS, 9 times out of 10, I have to say no because the guy is delusional and he thinks that spending a couple of grand with me is going to get him 100 grand a month monthly recurring revenue based on one video. And you're like, dude, if it was that easy,
Yeah, I
I'd
get
be
it.
doing it just for myself. It's not how it works. So it's you'll know that yourself. Working with SaaS, working with influencers, you've got to do all of that
Yeah,
in
of course.
reality to make that work. And
True.
I worked closely with SEMrush many years ago, and they had 100 plus SEO influencers
Mhm.
all doing this shit for them. They also paid affiliates. They also sponsored events. They also done podcasts. And that is what works. The multi-touch approach,
Yeah,
brand awareness, and all of that. Yeah.
so multi-channel marketing or multi-touch approach, right? Definitely that will work. Sure, that answers the question. If you would like to say very briefly, what's that SaaS marketing strategy that has worked best for your clients daily that you'd like to share?
Um, think, when I work with SaaS companies, um, I think again, the multi approach, you
Okay.
know, whether I launch a free course, I've worked with SaaS where I've launched a free course to
Mm,
get volume of people onto
mm,
the course to then promote the SaaS. I've then also followed that up with YouTube, speaking it in conferences, sending it out to my mailing list, continually prompting people through social media, um, and whilst always trying to educate and offer value up front. And I think that approach and demonstrating the SaaS itself and showing a case study and that type of thing is what's going to get people interested in the tool. So if it's a
mm,
content SaaS, for example,
mm,
show me the fucking thing working. Show me
mm,
the motherfucker doing its job. Show me the money that that made. And people can't often do that because no one likes to talk about money because they're not making any. And that's where you get all this fluff and garbage thrown
uh,
around. So
mm,
if I'm buying into SaaS, show me the bloody thing working, show me the money, show me everything that you're doing, and then
mm.
for sure, if it does something and I can make money from it, I'm in. I'm in. So, you just have to be transparent, show a case study, show the thing working, and people will buy into it. Do not fluff around, all this garbage because
Uh,
people are becoming wiser to that.
I get it. I get it. Well, when we are talking about SaaS marketing, I would like to know, have you experimented any of the SaaS-based SEO tools, or have it worked for you, or how it is? Have you, or would
I've,
you
I've,
like to
I've
name any?
I've tried them all. I've tried them
Uh,
all.
uh,
And, I'm not saying every single one, that's not fair.
mm,
But I've tried a lot of them. And yes, some tools do certain things. What I will say, Maitri, is there's no one tool that does my job for me. Let me
mm,
just be clear on that. There's
uh,
no golden tool that does it all.
of
Certain
course, of
tools
course.
do certain things and they form part of my overall strategy.
Got it.
If I look along my favourites bar just now,
Mm,
yeah, yeah, dude, I've got so many different things on there that all form the day-to-day running of my own business. And all of these SaaSes do one component very, very well. And that's how I see SaaS just now. They form part of the overall strategy.
sure, sure, definitely. Great. Understood, right? Next, I would like to know, like, if we talk about the business growth for entrepreneurs, right? Scaling a business is never a straight line, right? One day you are celebrating a win, and second day Google will show some updates, and you will feel like it feels like everything is just crumbling. So, and I know for a fact that you have built multiple businesses from the ground up, right? And you know, Mike, that what works, what now you know that what works, what doesn't work, right? So, what would your top three strategies that you would like to share that you use to scale a business from a $0 business to 1 million business?
Phase one, paid ads.
Mm,
Absolutely paid ads. From day one, when you can get the website live, start to do some form of paid ads if budget
mm,
allows. Um, it it just gets cash flow coming into the business. It proves that the product or the service that you're providing is
mm,
actually required.
mm,
Um,
mm, mm, mm.
Rather than spending 9 months doing SEO to start to get traffic, and then you find out that your product's garbage or no longer in date, that's a problem. And I've been there, I've done that. So phase one, get some paid ads going, prove the concept actually works. Um, Phase two, of course, always try and focus on organic for the long term of the business. Get a good content strategy in place. Um, and phase three would be to try and get traffic from as many other sources as you possibly can, whether that be Pinterest, Reddit,
Hmm.
LinkedIn,
Hmm.
Twitter,
Hmm.
YouTube, any other social media. I think that three-pronged approach, phase three helps build up expertise, authority, and trust, which I think you need in this day and age to help with your SEO. You've got to be on other sources, getting traffic and all of that kind of stuff. Gone are the days where you can just whack up a website and it has no face behind it, it has no social media, and it just ranks well. Google are looking at who owns the website. Do they have social media? Do they have all of these other trust signals in place in order to create a real brand? And I think that is the important part of the step. That, phase two and three are really important. You've got to get the trust, the brand signals, and everything to make Google trust you as a business owner.
Hmm.
Um, that's where a lot of affiliate websites died back in 2020. And if you looked
Yep.
at them, they were just content heavy websites. They
Hmm.
didn't have any branded traffic. They didn't have any social media profiles. They didn't even have a face on the website. Now, why would Google trust that? People were making, there was guys I spoke to who had 1,000 websites, you know, in all different niches. Who the hell says these guys are experts in the things that they were selling? They weren't. And that is what Google now want to reward. They want you, me, Craig Campbell, cannot be an expert in gardening, health, and finance. I can't be an expert in all of those. Who is an expert in all of that stuff? No one. So you need to pick and build yourself as an authority and an expert in a niche. And if you think that building 40 different websites using no persona, I think you're wasting your time. So
You're
that's my advice for doing that.
great, 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 great advice, mate. Got it. Next is something that I love asking because everyone talk about, even my clients talk about ROI, right? Let's talk about that. So my question is, what's that one high ROI digital marketing technique that not much people talk about or do, but you swear by?
Oh God, that's a good question.
Hmm.
Um,
You
I'm not
always
sure that's
come
what.
up with the good questions.
um, I'm trying to think.
Hmm.
The reason I'm trying to think is
Hmm.
I have got an e-com store
Hmm. Yep.
and it does very well on paid ads,
Hmm.
but it's a very niche market
Hmm.
and the buyer the buyers are aged between 40 and 60.
Hmm.
So I use specifically Facebook ads to laser target those people. Now,
Hmm.
that is not going to be the same for every niche.
Hmm.
The
Of course.
one go-to quick, easy win doesn't work for every industry. You've got to look at the industry. You've got to understand the buyer persona and where the hell does your customers hang around? How the
Right.
hell can you get your website in front of whether it be older people, whether it be younger people, whether it be whatever, and if it's the younger people, you've got TikTok, that's I know that's banned in India, but
Hmm.
in general,
Yep. Yep.
you've
Yep.
got to understand where is your customers? Where do they hang out? Even for you, you're a SaaS marketing company. Where do the SaaS guys go that are stuck,
True.
that don't know how to market their SaaS? They don't know shit. Where do they go to find more information?
Hmm.
And obviously you're going to say, Craig, they go to conferences, they go here, they go there, they go on YouTube. There's probably so many different places. And obviously you're in a very general market, but I would always say when I enter a niche now, I am
Hmm.
trying to find a niche market, a niche product that's relatively untapped. I don't want to go and create a new SaaS tool where I'm fighting with every
Mm.
Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Mm.
I also look at countries out with the UK or the US that are relatively untapped. I also look, you know, how many Spanish speaking people are in the US?
Mm.
25% of the US people that stay in the US are Spanish speaking people.
Mm.
That's a fucking niche within a niche that you have to be thinking about to exploit. So how do I get in to that? I hire a Spanish person because these Spanish people that stay in America, they can't read English, a lot of them.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I can provide a solution to a problem that these guys have. So rather than you trying to be the next Elon Musk, try and provide a solution to a problem that people have. And whether that's targeting a country specifically or language in a specific country. But, we also look across Europe or look across the world. There's so many untapped opportunities across Europe, countries where the SEO is zero. In India, the guys are super hungry for SEO. There's entrepreneur, it's a budding place for that stuff.
Yep, yep,
But
yep.
there's guys in maybe, I don't know, Turkey, for example,
Ah.
where SEO is not as thriving as maybe it is in some of the other countries. And for
Mm.
me, that's an opportunity where you go, well, if there's not a lot of good SEO here, then why can I not go in there and dominate that market rather than fighting with all the Indians or all the UK or the US? Why?
Mm.
Stand out in a much smaller crowd. And that's how I always try and look for new opportunities.
Interesting, interesting. Great, great. Well, next segment is about link building because I know for a fact that you also have a link building agency, right? So, link building, I feel like often it is debated and people say that it is outdated, and other people say that no, it's more crucial than ever, right? So, what's your take on current link building and what mistakes that people should avoid while doing link building? Or what mistakes maybe agency should avoid?
So link building has evolved over the years.
Of course.
Years ago it used to be how many links can you get? It was a numbers game. And over the years, Google have updated and updated and updated. They're wanting good quality, relevant links that are relevant to the niche that you operate in. Now, how do you get these links? You have to be creative. You have to don't just have a one trick solution to building links. You can do digital PR, you can be in the press, you can
Mm.
build PBNs using expired domains, you can reach out to people who have websites and offer money or content or whatever in exchange for a link. There's so many different ways to build links. And I think nowadays I would say to people, try and get a try and attack this in a multi approach way. Don't just focus on one type of link building. Also, I do podcasts, which turns into links because you're going to publish this on a bunch of podcast platforms. I'm getting link building. Why do I do podcasts even? Well, I'm going to get links out of it. Why do I speak at conferences? Because you make money and also you get links from it. Why do I do digital PR and say that Craig's the best SEO or whatever narrative goes out there? Again, it's all to do with link building. And
Mm.
there's different ways to do that.
True,
Now,
true.
obviously, there's a lot of people out there who say, don't buy links, don't do that. I'm going to be totally honest. It doesn't matter what happens. Money talks when it comes to links. If you've got no money, you ain't going to get a link. Someone reaches out to Maitri, oh, Maitri, give me a link on your website. Can you just link here? I mean, you're going to look at that and go, well, what's in it for me? Why would I even log into this website to place a link? You're going to, there's nothing to incentivize you. There's no money, there's no content, there's no Do you want to jump in my podcast and I can give you exposure if you give me this link? You've got to make sure that the person that sat there placing your link gets something out of it too, whether it be money, whether it be a, a joke, banter, a dinner, a drink, whatever. It's got to be worth something to the other person. And
True.
so many people still argue that outreach gets you great results. It doesn't. You get one reply in 100, and even at that, if that person replies, they still want a drink, a dinner, a payment, or something to do that. So my advice to anyone building links is bear that in mind, because I get these emails as well. Craig, you've mentioned this affiliate product. Can you change that out and put mine in? Why? Why would I do that? Like, what's incentivizing me to do that? Um,
Got it.
oh, you've not even made a funny joke or anything where I go, that was really funny. I'm going to give him a link because he caught my attention. You
Mm.
need to think outside the box, because the getting links is harder and harder. And also you need to get links that your competitors can't get as well, because you can go and get links from all of these kind of vendors. I can get the links from these places. What is going to set me and you apart? It's the other stuff that I do that you're not prepared to do. Whether that's I do 10 more podcasts than you, 10 more speaking events than you, I bribe 10 more people than you, I buy 10 times more drinks than you. I, all of that stuff is going to make sure that I beat you when it comes to link building, because I am that aggressive with it. I will do what it takes to make sure that Maitri does not beat me. And that is the mentality you have to have. Uh,
Interesting. Yep,
nothing
yep.
against me as a person,
Of course.
but yeah, but that's the kind of mentality you have to have. And like I say, it's either that or I just roll over and let Maitri win, and that's not an option as far as I'm concerned.
True, true, true. I feel like for any business, you got it. For any business, you gotta stand out in a way. That's the bottom line. You gotta stand out some way. You gotta do something different. You gotta do things differently, and yeah, keep at it. I feel like for sure. Okay, got it. I would like to know, you like talked about link building for sure. You talked a bit about e-commerce as well. So I feel like link building for e-commerce can be tricky. How should e-commerce store owner should approach it? Like product reviews or PR mentions or influencer partnerships? What do you think for them, link as a link building?
All of it. Again,
All right.
all of it. You know,
All right. Yeah.
product product reviews, get links to the products, but you've got categories, you've got a homepage, you've got
Mm,
blog posts, that everything needs links. All of it needs links.
mm,
So can you get affiliates? Even get affiliates on board. Now, a lot of people say, well, how does that help? Affiliates are building the links to your website. So you're incentivizing them with an affiliate commission, but they're also building you links. You
correct.
you need to do some PR. You need to get product reviews. You need to get YouTubers linking into your website. So again, that spray gun approach is going to help you, because any e-com store has a homepage, a category page, a blog post, a product specific page, and all of that stuff needs power and links. Um, in competitive markets, if you're selling, I don't know, white Nike Air Max,
Mm,
it's every website's got a pair of white Nike Air Max. What's going to make your e-com store rank well?
mm,
More power, more authority, links to that specific page. You've got to do the whole lot. And e-com is tough, but very, very rewarding if you can do it very well. So
yep.
I would always say, don't, a lot of people don't try to do
Mm,
e-com because they think it's too competitive.
mm,
Um, I think e-com it's not as difficult as a lot of people make it out, is all I'm going to say. It doesn't take 100,000 links to each page to rank well. I think if you focus on quality, you can get good results fairly quickly.
Definitely, definitely, for sure. If you have like good right resources and then you do things rightly, definitely e-commerce is such a booming business too. I have helped, earlier so many e-commerce startups as well. So I know that for a thing for sure. Great. Well, last question maybe on SEO, but like what's the best way to convert SEO traffic into like long-term, recurring revenue streams?
I think you just have to consider SEO as a long-term play.
Hmm.
Um, it's always evolving.
Yeah.
Um, and tools, strategies are always evolving.
Yeah.
Um, you've got AI overview, which is now coming into play. How do you manipulate that? You've got to try and do all of these kind of things. Where there's traffic, there's going to be money. And I
Hmm.
think you just have to keep evolving with the current SEO trends, the updates, the AI overviews, everything else that's out there. You just have to keep evolving, evolving, evolving.
Yep.
Getting too caught up in 2018 strategies is what a lot of people do. Evolve, 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 try and test different tactics, strategies, and whatever it's going to be. And I think that is where you're going to win. Don't get caught too much up in, for many years, a lot of people used to talk about schema, and I
Huh.
never really went too deep on schema
Hmm.
because the reward that I would get, so I could go to an e-com store and add schema to 15,000 products. Now, is that going to give me quadruple revenue? No, it's not. So what I'm trying to say is it's the risk against the reward of what you
Hmm.
get. So you want to spend the least amount of time getting the biggest ROI. I do not want to spend 400 hours adding schema to make an extra 20 bucks a month. Why
Hmm.
would I do
Of
that? So
course.
try and not get caught up too much in silly tactics that do not give you the return of investment or move the needle accordingly.
Yep. That's true. Great, great, great. Well, amazing. I mean, Craig, it has been an absolute, I feel like, masterclass on personal branding, be it SEO, digital marketing, and business strategies for entrepreneurs, right? Well, before we wrap this up, people should know about any upcoming project of yours or any sessions that they should keep an eye on.
You're better just going to craigcampbellseo.com. So all of my projects will be on there one way or another. Um, where I'm speaking at, things that I'm involved in,
Yep.
YouTube videos, all of
Yep.
that, because there's always a lot going on. So you're better just going there and then
Yep.
finding what you want from there on in.
Yep. Do that, do that. Go and follow Craig Campbell as CEO, guys. Okay, you will stay updated. Thank you so much. It was such a fun conversation with you. I got to learn so much, and thank you for keeping it fun, interactive, and engaging. I loved it. And yeah, guys, just like, share, and subscribe to our channel and share these videos with your friends, with your SEO enthusiasts. So we would like you, Craig, to say something in Hindi. Come on, you're on my channel. You gotta say something in Hindi. Say namaste to our
Dude,
viewers.
you can't ask that. I've not even done research. I don't know
Oh,
any Hindi.
I won't ask you to say some curse words. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I say good things. Okay.
I don't, I don't even know Hindi curse words.
I thought you would say Maitri, I'll send you the invoice for making me say stuff in Hindi. Don't do that.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
we can do that.
Okay. Tell, say something to them in Hindi. Say that namaste.
Namaste,
ये नमस्ते या हमारा वीडियो
Hamara video.
जरूर
Say that again.
जरूर
Zalud,
शेयर करना.
share, karna.
Yeah, which means basically we said it to our viewers that please do share our video. Do that. Come
Uh,
on. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Craig, for being so candid and fun about this podcast. I loved it. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
You're
Appreciate it.
wonderful. Great. And I'll see you guys in our next podcast. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care. Yeah.